Right, hi. I'm with Stephen Kinsella, a member of Patriotic Millionaires. Could you tell us a little bit about why you decided to join Patriotic Millionaires?
Yeah, certainly. So, I was someone who'd been very fortunate and, been well paid in my life, was conscious that our tax system seemed to be rather unbalanced and that it felt that people who make their money from capital, from investments, pay a far lower rate of tax than your average employee. And I knew I couldn't do anything about that on my own. I mean, of course, I can vote and I can talk to my MP. But by chance, really, I stumbled across the Patriotic Millionaires about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And they seemed to be a really, well-organized group. They had a plan. They had really good, well-expressed proposals. And it seems to me a group that I might be able to contribute to in some way.
Excellent. That's good. Yeah, so no, I fully agree. I've been putting stuff out on my social media this week because I knew it was coming down.
Yeah.
And a lot of the responses I got were, why don't you voluntarily pay more tax? But from my perspective, I don't think that's an option that's feasible. What would you say?
No, you're right. That is the sort of thing that gets thrown at us. They say, well, come on, if you feel that you want to make a bigger contribution, then do so. Then, write a tax to the Treasury or whatever way you can find of doing that. I think the problem is that addresses one of the issues, which is the fact that obviously our government needs more revenue because there are so many things we need to spend on that we can't afford. But the problem is most people would say, I'm very happy to pay tax as long as it's a fair system.
Yeah.
So the polling we've done, for instance, and it surprises a lot of people, more than 80% of the people who would pay the wealth tax support it. So the people who would pay it actually support it. But of course, they'll all happily do that as long as they can see everyone else who's been in their position.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's about fairness in our society as well, not just about the revenue.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people sort of performatively sort of announcing their departure from the UK at the moment. Yeah. So they fit into that 20% bracket that you're talking about, I guess. But from what I can tell from my research, nobody really believes that, with not that many leaving at all.
Well, I'm glad you say that because that's what we think as well.
Yeah.
So I'd have been worried if you'd said you'd done research and it turned out something we hadn't.
No.
And that is genuinely our impression. I mean, it's true. How many decades have we heard people saying, that's it, I'm going to be off. If they do this, I'm going to go.
Exactly.
And they're still here. Some people do leave, but people leave for a whole range of reasons. And our strong belief, and it's supported by our research and our polling, is that people aren't going to leave this country just to avoid a 2% tax on their wealth over 10 million pounds.
Yeah. And what's the next step for Patriotic Millionaires, you think?
Well, obviously the timing of this visit today, so bringing the bus down to Stroud, and obviously the bus was up in Liverpool, it's heading to London. We've got a budget looming. Yeah. We're trying to get the message across to the Chancellor and other politicians to say, look, be courageous, but grasp this opportunity. The truth is there's massive public support. So this would be a popular measure. More than 70% of the UK population as a whole are in favour of wealth tax and in favour of a fairer taxation system. So why would we not do that? That's our message, is to say, those of us who would pay it, support it. So please, can you get on and do it and create a fairer tax system for us all?
Yeah, fully agree with all of that. Thank you very much for your time.
No,
thank you.